Hey class, this is your how-to video on how to use Excel for the GDP pie chart and graph activity. I want you to look up top 10 GDP producing countries. Some of you might find slightly different lists depending on when that list was generated throughout the year. But try to find current, 2021 GDP list, top 10 countries. Include your name on the chart, define GDP up at the top. Include titles and values on your charts and graphs. I'll show you that. And format the cells to be inviting and polished. I'll show you that. In addition, just answer these 5 questions at the bottom to the best of your ability. If you have any questions with them, I can help you develop an answer or just kind of talk to you about them so that you can answer them a little more thoroughly. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You can go ahead and put your name in A1. You type your name in. If it comes out of the cell like this does, that's fine. Below that, you can do GDP, defining GDP. You can just type in this into the cell like so, and it just goes out. You can see it coming up here. You can alter it from here or up here. When you go into a cell that has a bunch of lettering and words, you need to click at the beginning of it. So if I clicked here, I'm not in that cell. You need to click at where the cell begins. So if I wanted to get to the GDP, I click here, it doesn't work. I need to click over here where it originated from. Anyways, go ahead and do that. You can change the font and the size and like that if you want to. Go ahead and create a chart, or I'm sorry, a little table with countries as a header, GDP in US dollars here. Do your 10 countries and do the amounts of their GDP here. Once you get the values in here, if you have the values in and you are getting little hashtags, it's because you just need it to be a little bit bigger. So you can always just double click in between and it'll size it to where it needs to be, or you can just drag it over and make it bigger. So let's see, put those in, come over here to the numbers under home, set it to currency, and it'll throw a dollar sign and commas behind everything, make it dollars. If there are decimals on it, like so, you can decrease the decimals by doing that. Okay, now, once you get everything in here, you can come over here, highlight this whole thing. You can actually turn it into a little chart here by just clicking on thick borders or all borders like so. For this right here, you can highlight it, change it here, or you can come over here to format as cell styles. Here we go. And you could just apply already preset one. That's usually what I do. Okay, so once you have your 10 countries in, we need to make this pie chart. Okay, so what we'll do is you'll highlight from the headers all the way down to the last figure. Come over here to Insert, Charts, grab one of your pie charts. Okay, once you have the pie chart up and you click on it, this is where it might get a little different for you. I'm showing a little plus sign here that I can use. Underneath of the design for chart tools, when you've clicked on the chart, that little plus sign's up here too. You're going to show it in one of the places. I'm on a Windows platform, you're on a Mac platform. So when I hit this here to add in data labels or chart title or a legend, you can also get to it from up here too. Okay. Once you add those in, I want a title on it. Just call it GDP or top 10 GDP countries. Make sure you have data labels on each one, little call outs like that. And you can decide how you want those. That's up to you to just make it look as best as possible. For your legend right here, you can just click on it. When you double click on those little components, it'll open up here. And there's a little one that looks like little statistics bars. If you click on that one, it'll let you manipulate whatever you click on. For example, clicking on the header here, these are the things I can manipulate with that. Clicking on this legend, this is what I can manipulate with that. I can put it on the top, the bottom, or make it so that it just doesn't overlap the chart. You can even come over here and like move it around and stuff like that. Okay. Once you make your chart look pretty and invited, you're done with that one. You're going to do the same thing for a bar graph. You're going to highlight this whole thing. You're going to come down here, go to Insert, Column Bar Graph, and it's kind of up to you which one you want to do. This one, this one, this one. Those are your options. You don't want to do the stack ones. There's nothing to stack. And there's nothing really, you just don't want to do the stack ones. Okay, so once you get your bar graph made, We want to add in axis titles, dollars over here, GDP dollars here, and then, I'm sorry, it should be countries down here. This should say countries. And over here it's dollars. So that's a mistake there. That should say countries. Anyways, countries down here, dollars here. You can have the dollars running up the side. Of course, the countries are called out right here. You can have your legend over to the side or wherever you like it. And then have the call outs on the values, the call out values for each of the bars here. Now, the last thing I want to show you before I go over the questions and whatnot is sometimes when you look it up, you might look this up and it might say be $14.3 trillion. You could totally make your chart like that. You know, this might be 4.2 trillion. Your header needs to say GDP in trillions now. So that's 14,300,000,000,000. You can make that same chart with this. Your numbers here then would just be 14.3, 4.2. And then instead of US dollars here, you'd put GDP trillions. If that doesn't make much sense to you, just talk to me about that when you're working on it in class. Last thing, answer those 5 questions at the bottom. Just simply answer the question here. You can simply continue to type out of the cell as you answer. Skip down a row and answer the next question. Please complete sentences thoroughly. And then I can also help you generate your answer if you're having difficulties. You're just going to obviously want to ask that during class so that I can answer you and we can have a little discussion. Hope this was helpful. Please reach out if you have any questions over the, overnight or when you're working in class. I'm so good at doing videos. Man.